Here we go. Hold on, Galen.
Oh, God. Oh, no.
Sex Plus, hosted by Lacey.
No! Stop it.
Woo! Yeah!
She's making the duck face.
Lacey with her gigantic fucking mouth.
That's a really good screen cap. She should use this instead.
Anything you wanted to say, Galen?
It's just that she is, she's a person who has a giant ego, and,
True.
a lot of people who are
Unlike me.
TJ has admitted to having a giant ego as well. I mean, Scotty,
There's
would you
giant
say you have a big
something.
one?
Oh!
Scotty, you got a giant ego?
My ego is, the size of, let's say, if TJ's ego is Alaska, and my ego would be like Texas. Let's say that, I guess.
Well, what about mine?
You can have North Dakota.
North Dakota, that's like something you would say to Cody. I mean, what a pot shot is that?
You get North Dakota, Alan. You have to live in North Dakota from now on too.
Give me Malta. It's at least
Fuck no, you don't get Malta, Galen. That's a nice island nation. You be eating steak and having fun. Like North Dakota, you just be freezing your ass off.
Wait a minute.
Everyone's having too much fun. We need more Lacey.
Mine is a state filled with crazy rednecks.
Play this shit, Ben.
True. What they've been saying about me. I have to come clean. I, Lacey Green, am a feminist. What? You're a
Slow clap, everyone. Slow clap.
By the way,
such courage.
What is this video titled? What is it called?
Why I'm a ... feminist. Gas.
By the way, she did a video before where she called herself an equalist, that she was not that, which was more getting into the whole egalitarian. She already made that. So I await to see how she's now saying she is not those things. Okay? Just want to put
she's
that
not
out.
Anymore. Now she's a feminist.
lesbian now? Man hater, hairy armpits. I think so. It's gonna be okay. Those are just stereotypes. I think that feminism is both kick-ass and super important, and here are a few of my reasons why. I'm a feminist because girls are taught in public school that once she has sex, she'll lose a part of herself. Because women who have a lot of sex are sluts while guys are studs. Amanda Todd, Felicia Garcia, Charisse Morales, because of the sexism that drove them to end their lives. I'm a feminist because I was told the first time I had sex would be painful and bloody. I was terrified.
They had a huge cock,
because 1 in 4 young women is assaulted and society still asks, what was she wearing? Because male victims of rape aren't believed since guys want sex all the time anyway, right? Because of catcalling and street harassment, because no, it is not a f***ing compliment. I'm a feminist because my first boyfriend sexually assaulted me, and when I went to my friends for help, they called me a slut. Because when I speak at universities about the absolute necessity of consent, there are people in the audience who laugh.
People in the audience laugh at me.
Do you know why they're laughing? What is that supposed to mean? That's such a vague thing to say.
People in the audience laugh. Therefore,
someone smiled during the presentation. Why did they do that?
I think it's because they don't believe in consent. I'm going to continue raping, so... Galen, what did you make of that list so far?
What a phony laugh.
It's real, Galen. It's deeply real.
That's a sincere laugh, Galen. TJ was really sincere with it. I'm so amused.
What did you think of her list, Galen? What do you think of her reasoning so far?
This is not. First of all, I want to distinguish something here because it was there was some things torn on Dusty. They were saying that this is not how Dusty should go about some kind of academic debate or reasoning. Well, her video is not academic or anything, and I'm not going to strawman her as being such, where she's doing some great philosophical video or putting out some academic paper. She's not. But she does take herself way too seriously. You don't always take yourself so seriously on something. You might have a video that is serious, but you'll pinch yourself. So will Dusty. I mean, look at Jacqueline. I mean, she'll pinch herself too and has a great sense of humor. Would you agree with that? I don't see Lacey.
Yeah, sure.
You think that Lacey just takes herself completely seriously?
Oh,
very much.
I mean, she does. Yeah.
Yeah. I think that's one of the problems when you're not able to laugh and that you're offended at everything of every other person, and then you're. And again, I already asserted about look at how we have our egos when we're vloggers and we're putting ourselves out there with large audiences, you know, and everyone's telling you, hey, you're awesome, and then you're saying, like, you know, fuck everybody else who doesn't like me. It's very easy to just, you know, your ego to grow, and you're going to need some people to, well, tell you you're wrong sometime.
Yeah, I see what you're saying.
Because boobs are used to sell everything from burgers to soap, but don't you dare breastfeed out in the open, because this shocks and terrifies people. I'm not even kidding. You should see some of the looks that I get. I'm a feminist because of how much pressure we put on girls to value their appearance above everything else. Because of labiaplasties, boob jobs, hymenoplasties. Because our culture considers it normal to cut off part of an infant's penis. I'm a feminist because male orgasm in the movies is rated PG-13, while female orgasm is rated R. I'm a feminist because in 2013 there were over 700 bills proposed to regulate a woman's body. And for men, the rightful number, 0. I'm a feminist because the political body making decisions about my body is over 80% male. Wow. Because men occupy the top rungs of not just politics, but every industry in the world. I'm a feminist because jobs! Women only hold 1 in 4 STEM jobs.
Enough.
Hold on.
That's enough. That's enough, Lacey. I've had enough. Like, first, like, her reasoning, I was kind of like, well, you know, those are some good little points there, but she's kind of being silly about how she's saying it. But it became ridiculous when it was like, I don't want men making decisions about women. Well, as you have famously stated, TJs, the biology of male and female has marched lockstep together through evolutionary history, and it'd be like there's this entity are almost like species of women, and then there's this species of man, and how she's stating it is ridiculous. It's worse than being a flat earther. Sounds more logical. Okay, that's ridiculous. It is insane. This is kind of this what is it, I think her name Mary Daly or whatever. There's certain feminists who actually believe this kind of bullshit. They're radical feminists. I want to say there are many types of feminisms. There are many feminists and many feminisms. And this is a ridiculous. And she's just, of course, going right for a gross generalization fallacy of my feminism, which, of course, is something Lacey has attacked you, TJ, on, and many others, saying, well, why are you talking about feminism, even though you clarify.
My problem with a lot of this stuff is that she's not really drawing the line for me. Like, she points out, like, here's something in society that I think is bad, and then it's like I'm supposed to know exactly where like, this is bad, therefore we need feminism. Like, I'm not seeing where is the therefore, where is the inference, where is you taking me the rest of the journey, you know?
How about this? How about we need enforced equal due process for all people? How about that? Where is this about? Where is the enforcement? Did Martin Luther King just sit around going, oh, man, y'all, we black people are victims. You know, it's all about these black people, and there are not enough black people here. He went out and marched to get the actual enforcement where people were respected as equals in a variety of social situations that helped all people in society see each other more equally. He didn't do it through hating and trashing and gender profiling people. He didn't go around that. That's sexist, and there's a lot of bigotry here. That's not how you go around building bridges to our fellow human beings. This is hate mongering.
Strong words from Galen.
I own 6% of TV stations, 5% of executive positions in the media. Because when I was younger and I took on a leadership role, all the adults in my life said, you're being bossy. And let's not forget that sneaky little pay gap. By the time the average woman reaches 60 years old, she will have made $450,000 less than a man in the same exact position. That's like a fancy-ass house, a truckload of chocolate bars, or 10. And hell, I'm not even surprised by it. At my first job, I learned that my less qualified male coworker was making almost twice as much as me. I'm a feminist because the media told me that women are my competition, destroying my friendships with them for almost 20 years. Because gender roles! Because that one-size-fits-all binary that shoves us into boxes.
Are men not forced into competition with each other in the world? I mean, aren't all people kind of like in competition in a capitalistic society?
Yes, we all are. Again,
no, not according to her.
She's putting it, there's a male species and there's a female species.
and ne'er
Of course,
shall
she'll
the two
deny
meet.
this, but that's what she always does. When does she ever answer criticism?
I mean, I don't know. Not in recent times has she ever really addressed anyone who has anything critical to say about her. I think that she's kind of just...
What incentive does she really have? She lives in a bubble.
Right. I mean, she's in her insular little world where she doesn't have to engage in any sort of actual debate on this stuff. Which is kind of, I mean, to her own detriment to an extent, because, I mean, if people are able to ask you questions about what you believe, then you can start to think critically about it in your own right. But if you just dismiss everyone's arguments against you, then it's like, oh, well, I'm just right and all these people are idiots.
What was your opinion on Lacey's early work, like her early videos? How'd you feel about those?
Who, me?
Yeah, anybody.
First of all, some of her earlier videos were really funny. I actually had come around across her, what is like 2007. And I actually knew Lacey from other social media sites before the whole YouTube thing in 2008. So that's where I first communicated with her. And then in 2009, there was a debacle between her and TJ. And I was actually the linking person who went between these rooms. And I was telling Lacey something in that, and I didn't mean to cause an uproar. And I warned her, like, not to make a video against him, just, hey, communicate. It's, you don't have to shout from room to room. But I warned her it's going to, this is dumb to go make a video, because I knew she was going to go make a video. And I warned her that, and then not to just be crying foul when she's starting drama. And then she went and started drama. And I was there. I actually still have the messages I sent her.
And the great thing about that video that she made about me in 2009, I mean, I don't know if I don't even remember the girl I was.
We were talking about that.
Yeah, we were just earlier today. We were talking about I
went after
some
TV.
Right, but I went after some girl that was
who
like
was
a radical,
bigot.
A radical Christian ultra bigot fundamentalist.
Yeah.
And I
Super
basically,
fundamentalist.
at one point, I called her a stick with tits, and Lacey was like, "How dare you describe a young girl's body like that?" And then there was she played this sad piano music over her own video.
And remember the original camera angle,
right? And with that camera angle, look at my cleavage and listen to me and hear me cry and listen to this sad music.
I want to point out why that was so ridiculous. You called her a stick with tits because she had, no intellectual basis to speak from. I mean, I understand if a person is extremely, into their religious language game and so forth, that at least they have something that they can grapple onto in the world to see the world with. That's better. There's some people who have nothing at all. I mean, there are certain people who have nothing. They're just completely dumb. She's pretty much that way, this girl that you did. She had a little bit of religious that you could at least try to connect with her own to understand. But she was nothing but a bag of bones and flesh. I mean, there was no brain in there, really. And then she was just, regurgitating a lot of bigoted rhetoric. And that's what you were really saying. You're a stick with tits. It was that you don't have a brain.
Right,
it was not just talking about her body and sex, and she strawmanned you and said you're just being sexist, and she didn't listen to your actual argument.
That's true. And I mean, I think that, if Lacey had just made a video that was refuting what I'd said or saying that she felt it was problematic for whatever reason, I could at least be like, well, I can at least see where you're coming from. But when you make a video that's so clearly designed to emotionally manipulate your audience into sharing some outrage that you have towards me, then that's just bullshit. And that is exactly the tactic she tried to use in that situation.
But the thing is, I had talked to her, I messaged her and said, don't do this video before she did it. I said, this is gonna, and then you're gonna be crying foul, and then you're gonna do a social media war with him, and how is that gonna be productive? You don't do that.
And that is pretty much exactly what happened.
That's exactly what happened.
So what happened after that?
I think Lacey and I just kind of kept out of each other's way for the most part after that, with like maybe a few little encounters here and there.
Yeah.
All right. Well,
But that was pretty much it.
Let's.
This is probably the most I've talked about her since.
Do you want to finish this video?
Sure, we can go through a little more.
And erases who we are. I'm a feminist because in 10th grade someone called my best friend a pussy and it tore him up for weeks. And I realized the worst insult was to be compared to a woman. Because boys are shamed for being emotionally open, because that's a girl thing. And womanhood is weak. Weak! Never mind the fact that it was most likely a woman who pushed your body out of her vagina. I'm a feminist because my father never once did the laundry, made dinner, or cleaned the house. When I suggested he help, my grandpa told me.
So it's like, my father was shitty and didn't help out, therefore I'm a feminist.
Yeah, I guess pretty much what she's saying in that regard.
Okay.
I was out of my damn mind. Wow. Out of my mind.
Wow.
Am I taking crazy pills? I'm a feminist because people still say that asexual, bisexual, and trans folk don't exist. I'm a feminist because same-sex marriage is a no-brainer. Because in 34 states.
I would say, like, in a full, with, like, maybe at least, like, 2/3 of these, I don't even really see the connection to feminism or how it's going to solve the problem. And she really needs
She's just trying to claim it for feminism.
It's like, this is what us feminists fight for.
Which feminism? There's so many different types. Has anyone not followed the history of freedom movements and from various cultures and times? Does context even fucking matter?
No, Galen, it doesn't. Because you know what? Because even if because you know what their definition of feminism is, if you press them on it, it's like, oh, what's the definition of feminism? Feminism just means men and women should be equal. It's like, okay, well then how can you claim that it addresses all of this stuff that this video supposedly talks about? And how can you say that's all it is? I mean, there's complex feminist theory that's been developed by academia for, I don't know. Galen, you know the history better than me.
So what did I miss?
I'm just asking you. When did why don't you talk a little about the early history of feminism for a second?
Well, I mean, there have been movements for the freedom of women, but all people. For universal suffrage. This goes back with abolitionists, and they're the freedom of women. I mean, and not just of white women, but the actual first wave feminism was born off of pushing aside certain universal suffragists that were for all minorities, for everybody. I mean, everyone having the right to vote and other enforced rights and having equal due process, which was not being done.
So you're basically saying that even like the first wave feminism basically was...
No, first wave feminism was bigoted and it was racist because it was for white women and it championed itself with, Susan B. Anthony did, with actually like conservative Christian women. And that's what it did. It was just like, to hell with all the minorities, to hell with all these people. We'll get the right for women to vote, but it's mainly for just white women, and that's all that matters. And so it was extremely bigoted in what they did, and then it just kind of dissolved from there. They didn't pursue any universal suffrage and for equal due process, universal equal due process for anyone. They just abandoned everyone else. I mean, if you look at the feminist history of feminist movements, it is not like those of the civil rights movement of the 60s. That was very different. It had a very different tone to it, because the movement of like the 60s, or what was Martin Luther King was doing, was founded in one essential thing, and that is, if your rights, TJ or Scotty, your rights are violated, so are mine. Everyone, if one person's rights, if you see Mike Brown getting shot, then that means you're vulnerable, despite gender, race, anything. That everyone can be affected by this. Not, I'm a woman and no one can understand me. It was about empathy. It was about understanding another and reaching people. A lot of what is being done today and has been done is just a very gender profiling, bigoted, sexist, and racist that has gone on throughout various feminisms. I'm not ripping all feminisms. There are good qualities to it as well, but I'm not a feminist because of those reasons. But besides, I don't like to be put in with a lot of things. I have trouble being put in with atheism. I mean, it's just, I'm very independent. I don't want to be associated with any type of certain movements and ideologies like, oh, that thing, that's what I am. I identify, and I could just say, whatever the issue, that's what I am. And that's what most people do. And I don't want any of that. I'm like, fuck all that. I'm a person, and I'm going to be a just person and just to other people in society and in civilization. Isn't that what part of being civilized in a civilization is about? But we're not being very civilized, are we? Why do we even have a civilization anymore?
I'm not convinced we do.
I think TJ's a firm ice creamist.
Yeah, I believe in ice cream.
He believes in ice cream for sure. He's like, you know what?
Wait a minute.
I take a stand on this
Scotty.
issue.
Well, he took a stand on a banana split.
Oh, I see.
It'll never die, TJ.
It will never die.
It will never die.
Let's move on from Lacey Green.
Yeah.
Let's move on to some crazy people.
She was showing us maps, though.
Maps.
I mean,
we need to see
Yeah,
these
let's
maps.
see the maps. Yeah, we got to see maps.
All right.
Maps.
Legal to discriminate against someone who's transgender. Really? I'm a feminist because it represents
I don't know. Those were the maps. I guess it had something to do with
transgender.
Yeah, I don't know.
I don't know either.
How is that a feminist issue?
I don't know. It's not, but somehow it is. Family Guy.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, we probably won't watch this whole video, but...
It's 19 minutes long, so
Yeah.
it's unlikely.
Are we done with Lacey?
We're done with Lacey.
Yeah.
Well, I want to put out something. There's someone called the Factual Feminist, Christina Hoff Sommers. You can get her on Twitter at CH Summers, SOMMERS. She is a feminist, but she really goes against the grain of a lot. I really do enjoy her, and I strongly suggest her to, if anybody wants to look at feminism from another angle. And she's the author of Who Stole Feminism? ? So I strongly recommend reading up about feminisms and looking into it, and that's a good place to start.
All right.